Northroad's giving you an excellent opportunity to listen to a young entrepreneur that's affiliated with 1 Million Cups. I know you had some background information, but let's just make sure that we follow the expectations of Laing and to show what it is like to be a Laing student. I know you step up to the task at hand, and I look forward to you hearing about what it takes to create a business. And this is a very exciting time. And I hope you, as you're listening, I hope you start generating questions in your mind and it provide you some more insight. So, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to
Okay, good morning, everyone. Good to see everyone here. Hello? There we go. Okay. Glad some of you were able to get out of class. Now, in just a minute, I'm going to introduce Katie Miller and David Simpson, and they're with an organization called 1 Million Cups, and she'll explain, I believe Katie will explain what that's about. But there's a very vibrant entrepreneurial community here in Charleston area, and 1 Million Cups, and she'll explain just an opportunity for entrepreneurs to get together, to network, to share ideas. And one of the fun things of teaching this class is to take the academic part of entrepreneurship and then bring in real world examples of people doing the sort of things that we talk about in the classroom. The examples that we look at other businesses, actually talking to real people in this community who live here and are trying to execute on the very things that we talk about. And for some of you 8th graders, where you have your business ideas, you're going to hear people here, one person in particular talk about their business idea, where they are in that process. As we all know, it's a hard and difficult process, but exciting and fun. So I'm glad they're here. It's a real honor and a blessing to have them here. And if I can introduce Katie, this is Katie Miller.
Good morning, everybody. And I'm going to introduce one of the other organizers for 1 Million Cups Charleston, and also my co-host every Wednesday, and that is Mr. David Simpson. Let's give him a round of applause.
All right, guys. Well, it takes a little bit of energy to be an entrepreneur, so we're going to do a little call and response here and get the morning started. I'm going to do a good morning, and you guys are going to follow it up. So, good morning, Laing Middle School. Good morning. All right, that's the way to start. Because you got to have energy when you're an entrepreneur. It takes effort to get out there. And, your teachers may see a bunch of students, me and Katie, we see a bunch of ideas out there. We see the future. We know you guys, I see great ideas over there, something happening back there, a little bit on this side, over there. So there's some good things happening in this room, and we're real excited to have an awesome entrepreneur with us. Eli over here started about when he was your guys' age. Very successful now, super cool product. And as your teacher said, we're with the 1 Million Cups Foundation out of Kansas City. And I'm going to let Katie tell you a little bit more about exactly what 1 Million Cups is, so you guys can keep an eye on it and hopefully come to one of our events soon.
Good morning. All right, so let me, by show of hands, who in here, and I think I already know the answer to this one, but who in here knows what an entrepreneur is? All right, y'all are all in entrepreneurship class, so you should probably know that, right? All right, so second question. Who in here already is an entrepreneur?
Oh, yeah.
All right. I see several hands. That's wonderful. And who in here, by a show of hands, wants to be an entrepreneur someday? Wonderful. Me too. So this is an amazing group. I'm so excited to see all of you here and all of you that are engaged in learning about entrepreneurship. It's a wonderful option and something that allows you so much creativity and for you to really take control of what you want your future to be. And so what we do here at 1 Million Cups Charleston, the 1 Million Cups references, we meet across the nation over 1 million cups of coffee. So who in here got some coffee and drank some coffee this morning? Woo! You feeling caffeinated? Yeah, all right, I like your energy. Wonderful. And so what we 9 to 10 in 180 some cities across the United States. We meet, we drink free coffee, and we listen to a presenter talk about their startup. So we're going to introduce in a moment Eli, who's here, who's going to be our presenter this morning. And then we open it up to Q&A, okay? So while Eli is presenting, start thinking about any questions that you have, and we will come around with the microphone at that point, and you can ask Eli any questions that you want. Sound good? All right, cool. Woo! I love this energy. I wish this was every Wednesday at 1 Million Cups. You all are fantastic. So, without further ado, I want everyone in here to give an extremely warm, our presenter, he's a Charleston native. He went to Ashley River Elementary, and then through the School of Arts, and then through College of Charleston. And so, he's going to talk a little bit more, but he has been an entrepreneur since he was about 15 years old. All right, so I know a lot of you all are probably getting close to that if you're not. You'll be there soon. So, 13? Close. 11? Wow. So we're getting there. You can start at any age. You can beat him to the punch. And so everybody give a huge warm round of applause for
Thank you guys for having me. I'm very excited to be here and share my passion with you guys. Like Katie said, I'm from Charleston, so I grew up here. Played soccer in Mount Pleasant, played soccer in Somerville, all over the place. So soccer is a big part of my life. Just to kind of preface everything, and I'm going to go into that a lot in this presentation as well. So yeah, I grew up in West Ashley. I played. So just to give you a couple background points on me and where this business really comes from is my passion of soccer. And so I played in the U.S. Development Academy, which is the logo on the left here. And so that's the highest level of youth soccer you can play at in the United States. And so there's typically 1 or 2 teams per state all across the country. And at the time that I was coming up, there was only one team in South Carolina. It was the Charleston Battery Academy. Unfortunately, there's no longer exists, but I got a lot of really great, phenomenal exposure to that program. I was recruited. I was recruited for the U.S. national team through market training centers in the Southeast, and then also to play at some of the prestigious colleges across the country, UCLA, Wake Forest, North Carolina. And I actually landed my first 2 years of college. I played at the University of South Carolina, so go Gamecocks. So I was a Gamecock for a couple of years, and then I transferred to the College of Charleston, where I finished my Division I soccer career. And then through that process, I also played for some other fairly well-known organizations. One of them being the Seattle Sounders, professional semi. I played for their semi-professional development team, so I was out in Seattle for a number of months, and that was a phenomenal experience for me. So that's a little bit about my background. So let's talk about the business a little bit. When I was maybe not too much older than some of you guys, I was at the School of the Arts, and a bunch of my friends, this is not them, but this picture is meant to symbolize them. A bunch of my friends would every single day for 3 years, like without fail, at lunch, we would scarf down our lunch in 10 minutes or less, and then we would go kick a hacky sack around. And so it was probably, and as an entrepreneur and even just as a problem solver, you'll have these moments of kind of epiphanies where you're like, oh my gosh, that's the solution. And I had one of those moments driving back from Columbia. I used to go to practice 3 days a week to Columbia and back, which is crazy. My parents love me very much, thankfully. And on my way back from Columbia, I was thinking, like, in this group of all of my friends, all kicking around a hacky sack, none of them played soccer. And I was like, there's something very strange about that observation. Because at the end of the day, we were juggling and kicking around. I mean, that's the fundamentals of soccer, is kicking a hacky sack. And so all of my friends every single day would do this. And I kept thinking about that. I was like, what about this is, there's something here. And then one night, as I was coming back from practice, I was like, that's it. Hacky sack can be soccer becoming the most popular sport in America, right? Because right now we can see soccer is trending. Atlanta United in Atlanta is like one of the most populated games on average in the MLS, which is crazy. So soccer is really trending up in America, but it's not number one yet, right? And so for me, I'm like, man, like that's the goal. Like I want to make soccer number one in America. I love it. I want everybody else to love it just like I do. And so I was like, hacky sack could be the way. And to me, a hacky sack is like soccer in your pocket. And so down the rabbit hole I went. I manufactured 1,000 hacky sacks. I actually brought one here with me, so you guys maybe have any different. But we won't demonstrate the hacky sack. But well, maybe we will. But so I was like, okay, soccer in your pocket. There's something there. I manufactured 1,000 hacky sacks. Soccer in your pocket. There it is. Look at that, beautiful, right? There's soccer, passion filled, and you put it in your pocket. Yes.
What's a hacky sack?
What's a hacky sack? Great question. Does anybody know what a hacky sack is? We don't know what a hacky sack is. Let me see if I can get that here. Hold on one second. Okay, great question. Thank you for asking. So a hacky sack is essentially, it can be knitted. In this case, it's canalized. It's really just a bag of beans, so like rubber pellets. So there's not a whole lot to it other than that. That's what a hacky sack is. So down the rabbit hole I went from designing a logo to building a website to manufacturing products, sourcing a manufacturer. And so I manufactured 1,000 of these hacky sacks with the University of South Carolina logo on them, which I got licensed because at the time I was playing for the program. I spent 2 years on that. So not much older than you guys. I went down this process of 2 years of developing this business and then trying to sell it to stores and trying to sell it to people. And struggled. Like the big obstacle that I kept facing was like, I'm not coordinated enough, I can't really play soccer, I'm not going to be any good at it, so then I'm not going to try it. And so if I can get anybody to try it, how am I going to get this? How am I going to get this out? So at the end of this 2 years, I was like, okay, like I have to try and breathe life into this idea. I still think there's something here. And so I met with this licensing guy. I was like, please give me 5 minutes of your time. Let me just tell you what I'm doing and see if you resonate with it, and maybe you can help me, right? So a licensing guy, like he helps to license products with a business that already has distribution and selling channels. So like his products may be in like 50 stores already, and if I could just get the license, then he could put it through all his stores, and I could get a small percentage of it. And so in this meeting, at the end of this meeting, it ended up being like an hour long, which was phenomenal. At the end of this meeting, he goes, I was in Beijing and I saw this thing, and there was 50 people kicking it around, and it was super easy. And so after 2 years of going through this process of everybody saying, this is too hard, no one's willing to try it, this guy's telling me he saw something where 50 people were kicking this thing around, and it looked super easy. And I'm like, okay, I gotta know what this is, like, you gotta tell me. So he starts to describe it, it had this like weird little tail thing on it, and then, it had feathers. So the second he said feathers, I was like, all right, this guy's crazy. Thanks for your time, I'm gonna go my merry way, I really appreciate it. So off I went, and then a couple days later I was like, okay, hold on a second. Maybe there is something here. So I dove in and I was like researching, and I was like, what is this about? Like feathers, people kicking. And it turns out this game has been around in China since like 5th century BC. And it started out as a military game. There's a ton of background on it. I won't go back into that because it's been back and forth. But essentially, it was the concept of kicking a bad birdie and trying to keep it up in the air. And the idea behind that is that the feathers slow it down in the air, right? So it makes it a little bit easier. So flash forward to a little over 3 years ago. I was playing for a semi-professional team down in Statesboro, Georgia. Does anybody know where Statesboro, Georgia is? A couple people. So if anybody knows about Statesboro, Georgia, it's a traditionally football throwing town. There's Georgia Southern there. There's a big football following for that. There's really no soccer culture there to speak of. And so I went down to play for this team, which just formed. It was their first ever season. They recruited me to come, so we were playing there. And this is where I was like, okay, like, so if everybody can see the logo up here, what does that look like? What kind of animal is that?
Elephant.
Okay, so it's actually an ibis. It's a bird, right? So here's this idea, this guy gave me of feathers, and here's a team I'm playing for that has a bird as a mascot. So I'm like, feathers actually make sense here, right? Like, I'm not gonna sound crazy if I try to pursue this and this and this. So I set up a meeting with the owners, and I was like, hey, here's this crazy idea I've got. I sketched it up, here's the design, here's what it could look like with your logo on it, your colors, and it's got feathers on it. And the owners were like, this is kind of crazy, but they probably saw this like compassionate look in my eye, and I was like, this has to work. And they were like, okay, go for it. So here's our first set of products ever. It came in beautiful. It was awesome. It was so much fun. I got inventory. I was like ready to sell. And we set up at games, and it was an awesome time. We had fans. We had kids that came from the youth system. We juggled and we trained with them. And this was a new way to engage with American soccer fans. So in a place that had no soccer culture whatsoever, we helped them build a brand around a new soccer product, which is a really great case study. And so I thought, if we could do this in a place that has no soccer culture, we could do this anywhere, right? So back when I came to the Charleston area, and I was like, okay, well, the only professional soccer team in South Carolina is the Charleston Battery. And so here's us pitching to the Charleston Battery. You can kind of see this photo up here is a graphic of a Charleston Battery sidekick before we ever produced it. Here's an image of it, and here's the first round of product. And so I did this long meeting. I was like, this is what we did in Statesboro, and I think it can work here. And they were like, you know what, let's just go for it. Let's do it. So I was super excited about that. It was such an adrenaline rush. And these are risks, right? Like for one, like walking around with this thing looks crazy. Like that's a risk. I'm risking looking like just like insane, right? And so walking into this place and pitching to a professional organization my idea that isn't even produced yet, really, was a risk. But there's something about that that's extremely exciting and invigorating. But I want to take one step back here for a second because it was this, which was a failure. I spent 2 years of time. This is when Instagram was coming out. Like I had built an Instagram following, like I did all these things and barely sold anything. Failure. And then I was like, but there's got to be something else here. Like I'm not ready to give up on this business yet. I'm not ready to give up on entrepreneurship yet. And so that's where I pivoted, which is the term we used, and came up with the sidekick. Okay, so I told you a little bit about sidekick. I'm going to give you a quick demonstration here, and we can do a little bit more later. We're going to have fun with that later. But so the sidekick is made of a rubber base that gives it extra bounce. And then it's got these weights that flip it back over, and then the feathers slow down. So extra bounce, slows it down, it's supposed to be a little bit easier, right? I'm going to put the mic, actually, you know, I'm going to put the mic back. Here we go. So I'll just go through the process really quickly. So we went to the Charleston Battery. There's another professional organization called the Richmond Kickers that we went to. The Charleston Fleet. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Charleston Fleet. It's now a semi-professional women's team here. Twin City Union FC is a team out in Seattle that we affiliated with. And then we also connected with a lot of these youth programs throughout the Southeast. It's really, really fun. So there's the sidekick. It is a soccer juggling tool. We like to call it today's soccer tool for tomorrow's soccer star. But an important thing to understand, okay, so we already talked about how it works. An important thing to understand is it was also designed not only to be a tool for soccer players, but a new way for fans to engage, right? Just like I mentioned before earlier with Tormenta FC, which is that team in Statesboro, this is a new way for fans to engage with the world's most popular game. So here's a quick video I'm going to show you guys of us juggling with the Charleston Battery before a game. So this is really, really fun. Hopefully this works. Who's been to the Charleston Battery game here? There we go, nice, very cool. So maybe you guys recognize some of those So the cool thing is actually these two guys right here are former teammates of mine at the University of South Carolina. So that was really cool to see them out there on the field. So this is cool. I wanted to share this win with you guys. I just came back from Seattle and juggled with Ozzy Alonso here on the left, and also, I guess, also on the right, there's Ozzy. So Ozzy's the captain of the Seattle Sounders. We got to juggle with him. Have a super cool video coming out soon, so you guys definitely gotta check out the YouTube channel. And we also juggled with Beverly Yanez, which is a professional world-class striker. She plays for the Seattle Reign, which is a really prestigious organization for the women's professional team. So we do a lot of things through social media, through e-commerce. So we built a website online that we sell on. We also sell in soccer stadiums, and then also in 50 retail stores all over the country. So this map is going to show you a little bit of that. So all the blue diamonds here are retail stores that we're in, and then all the green spots are high-density areas for e-commerce sales that we got. So this is where we started with Charleston Battery. This is where we're going to the MLS, and then all the way to La Liga, some of the biggest leagues in the world. That's our goal. And that is a sidekick in a nutshell. And at this point, I would love to maybe open it up to, or actually, should we do a demonstration? Do we have a couple players up here that want to do a sidekick? So let's do
How much does one of these cost?
question. So they cost. They cost $12.99. They cost $12.99. So we sell them online. They're also on our website, asagi.com. Then you can also find them at Lloyd's. And this is also really cool. So who knows Wonderworks? Everybody over to Wonderworks? So also Extravaganza is coming up, which is a really fun event that you guys should all come to. It is November 10th, which is on a Saturday morning. And there's a big festival going on, and so we'll be there juggling. So if you guys want to come by, we'll also be there, and hopefully in all the outdoors.
Alright, who else has a question? You can come on up, and whoever else has their hand raised, just come and make a line right here.
Whoa, big question there. So we're a startup, right? So this is like kind of the beginning phases of it. So on average, wow, that's a tough one. How about we do this? I'll say units. Okay, so we went through, we've so far since we've been in business, a little over 7,000 units have been sold, and that's through our retail stores and also online and events and stuff. So, yeah.
Speaking to the mic. Speaking to the mic.
A little over 7,000.
Will you repeat it?
So her question was, how many of you guys sold so far? And a little over 7,000. Great question. So the question was, how did you come up with the name Sidekick? So Sidekick is a couple of different reasons. So actually in China, the rule is you have to only use the size of your feet. That's kind of how it started, was just the size of your feet, so you sidekick it. And then also, there's symbolism there of like every hero needs a sidekick, right? And then there's another reason that we called it the sidekick that is, escaping me at the moment.
What's your end user?
What's my end user? Okay, I like it. Good questions. This is about marketing. This is fun. So I was a marketing major at college also, so that's a good question. Who's your end user? Who's your target market, right? So a big target market for us is soccer players, youth soccer players, and actually a really hot target market in that is ages 6 to 12 and 13. Those are kind of like our really target markets. So a lot of youth players at 6 is kind of like when they really start getting coordinated enough to dribble it, and then at 12 is when they can start doing really crazy tricks and stuff. So, and then also parents, soccer moms, soccer dads are also.
Do you still think that $12?
Yeah, no, this is dollars. I'm sorry.
Try to make $100 for you. Well, what do you like to challenge on part of your competition?
I can't hear.
What's the most challenging part about starting? Probably the most challenging about initially starting it, and then honestly, probably the most challenging throughout, is the manufacturing side of it. There's a lot of logistics. So we manufacture in Asia, and so there's a lot of international shipping. There's communications with the manufacturers. There's tweaks with designs, colors. All that kind of communication has been a real challenge for us. So we've done Skype meetings, email. I've not gone over to China specifically to walk the factories and kind of tweak them myself, so I've had to do a lot of that virtually, which has been a challenge. Yeah, that's probably the biggest one, is that. And then also, this is an interesting, so I went from 3 retail stores to 37 in about a 2-minute conversation with a bunch of retail stores, which was amazing. We kind of grew up at that point and stocked out for 4 months. So a lot of those retail stores came in with the understanding that we may stock out, so they're going to have to kind of pre-order more or less. So they were okay with that because it's a product that no one's really ever seen in the soccer space. And so inventory, so when we stocked out, it was like, oh my gosh, okay, I've got all these stores I've got to now fulfill orders for on a regular basis. Well, soccer is seasonal, so it's not all the time going to be crazy tournament season, crazy sales season, right? So the cycles are different. So when we stocked out, we ordered enough to handle demand from those stores over the long term at that level, which is actually called the bullwhip effect, which supply chain. And that's where you kind of order a ton, and then demand starts to slow, and now you've got all this excess inventory that you got to sell off over the time. And so we experienced a bit of that, and thankfully, because it's such a unique product, we've been able to get to more stores and kind of flatten that out. But yeah, inventory management and manufacturing is probably, those are the biggest challenges for sure. Great question.
Got another question over here. Stand up.
Okay, so great question. How long does it take to make each one? So when we do manufacturing, we do in bulk, and so it takes anywhere from 30 to 45 days to produce around 3,000 at minimum. So we go 3,000 to 5,000 is kind of the typical order quantity that we take. So yeah, anywhere between 30 and 45 days. And so there's like a dyeing process in that. So the feathers are bleached and then they're dyed, and then the rubber is cut, and then it's all hand assembled. Yeah.
What's your highest amount of jokers?
That's a soccer question, I like that. So this has been fun too. I wish I had, and you guys check out our YouTube too, so we've got tons of videos. The highest amount of jokes I've ever gotten was 510, and then my teammate got 515, so. You got 515, I like it. Okay, he's kidding. Alright. So no, like on the college team, we would, in the airports, we went to New York, we kind of, whenever we travel, we juggle the sidekick, and so we have tons of competition all the time. So, what? Like, do you want me to like juggle until I get 500? We might be here for 30 minutes if I do that. I don't have a video up the slides of that, but check out our YouTube channel, there is a video. Great question. So soccer in the U.S. has these regional hotspots. The Southeast has not traditionally been one of those until Atlanta. So we've had a lot of success in Atlanta. In New York, in the Northeast, we've had a lot of success. And then we've had success in Texas. And then until recently with the Seattle Sounders, that's a really, really popular region. So we're trying to focus a lot more on those. So those are kind of the bigger markets of soccer that we try to focus on. Did you stop producing? So did I stop producing hacky sacks? Yes. And so here's an interesting dynamic. So the sidekick, as you see, has these like weights on it, and so this is all a PLA rubber material. And so the weights actually flex. So even if you don't make great contact with the sidekick, it'll still flex and float up, giving you those chance to get to it versus like a bag of beans, more or less. If you hit the side of it, it'll just kind of slide off the side of your foot. And so yeah, it's just like the hacky sacks are just so difficult for really anyone. And after having tried to convince people that it wasn't for a long time, it was not successful.
Start lining up again too. Feel free.
Those, she asked what kind of tricks can you do. So I have those that you can do any trick with, any trick that you can do with a soccer ball, you can do with a sidekick. I'll do a couple of tricks here. That's really good. I'm going to try and summon all of my soccer practice.
Oh yeah!
What a great question. Am I considering taking this to Brazil? That was the question. The question was, am I considering taking it to Brazil because he thinks that would be a great market for it? Yes, I have considered taking it to South America and Europe as well. We've actually dabbled in Europe and Scandinavia, which is northwestern Europe, and got good response out there. It's just, there's a lot of licensing and trade arrangements that have to be made in order to legally do business in other countries. And also, it's difficult when it comes to intellectual property and protecting that overseas in in the US we have different regulations and laws when it comes to protecting that. And so it's just a whole other bag of worms to open. So yes, Brazil will be amazing, but not yet. Very much. The question was, can you choose your own colors? Not currently, but hopefully as we continue to grow, we'll be able to offer that as an option on our website. That would be pretty cool to be able to customize those colors. State have we sold this year? I'm gonna put the map back up here, and then you guys can guess. So South Carolina's pretty hot. North Carolina's pretty good. It kind of depends. That's a good question. I would say on the e-commerce side of things, definitely more in the Northeast. Pennsylvania is doing pretty good for us, and then probably at events, definitely in South Carolina, just most of the people around here. So. So we do have some here today. We did. I think we're gonna do. We'll make that available to you for sure. We're gonna do a deal. Actually, we're also gonna.
I don't need the mic. Sure. It's all right. Is there a store in Mount Pleasant where I can go buy one today?
Yes. Lloyd's Soccer Shop has them, and they're off of Long Point Road in Mount Pleasant.
Talked about making a hacky sack and spending 2 years on that and it not really working out. Can you tell us a little bit about how you stayed positive and made it happen in the long run?
Yeah, so that's a good question. Well, I would say like when it comes to, so we've been doing this for a little over 3 years now, and so 2 years of the hacky sack venture taught me a lot about patience, and also about the importance of getting a little win. And I learned a lot of that through playing soccer. I played soccer for 20 years, and so in looking and reflecting on what kept me coming back for 20 years playing soccer, it's those little moments that give you the adrenaline rush and give you this feeling of success and happiness. And so with the hacky sack thing, it was also about me kind of cutting my teeth and understanding how to market something, how to brand something. It was kind of this new place for me to explore it. So I was just kind of gaining skills all the way along, even though the business wasn't necessarily booming. I was also investing in myself and my own skills, which I knew were going to be valuable down the road when I tried to create something else. So yeah, it was 2 years. I'm glad that I started that business 2 years while I was in school and didn't have to pay any bills, because I didn't have to necessarily focus so much on the financial side of things as much as just educating myself. What business did you play in soccer? So I was a center forward. Most of my career in college, I went out wide. I was a winger, so outside the practice play. Oh, she's got a side gig. Can we get a round of applause for that?
Sure, you got one.
Thanks, Eli. A lot of people have ideas, and I'm sure a lot of kids here maybe have an idea or a thought. What's the one thing that you sit there thinking, how do I get started? What's the first thing I should do?
Yeah. So we actually, I've gone through a couple of different incubator programs as well, creating other businesses, tech businesses. And one thing that was really important when it comes to creating a business is once you kind of have your idea, is how quickly can you test it with somebody else and get feedback on it? Because you might think you've got the greatest idea in the world, and then if you go into your room and all you do is work on that idea without showing anybody until it's like perfect and it's made, and then you go to the market and say, here's this perfect idea I've got, and then to find out that the market doesn't really want it or need it. And so a big thing that I would say is if you've got an idea and you can somehow make a prototype of it or develop a prototype and test it with somebody, the quicker you can get an opinion, especially from someone that you're trying to market to, and see if there's a need actually for it, like that's huge. You'll save a lot of time and frustration you're onto something that you know has to be.
Alright, let's give a huge round of applause for Eli. In these last few minutes, sorry we don't have time for all the questions, but in these last few minutes, I have a few questions for you all. So, what is something that you learned about being an entrepreneur from Eli? Can I get 2 hands of something that you learned today? All right, I saw this one and this one. Absolutely. So what she said is you don't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to wait. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to go for it. So who agrees with that? Yeah. Great question. Or great comment.
I learned that sidekicks are the best thing in the world and everybody gives you my one.
So we also, I think we also, a couple takeaways is that you can be an entrepreneur and start this journey at any age. So never feel like you're too young to come up with ideas and to build products or to build a business idea. This is a great time to start because then you have plenty of time to learn from failure. Now I know failure can be sometimes a really scary word and something that we don't like to experience. But just like Eli learned with the hacky sack, sometimes you have to fail in order to know what the next best thing is. And then how to be really successful is to learn from those failures and not to be frustrated and stop doing it when you do fail. So another thing is you don't have to have all the answers. He learned a lot as he went through this process. And just be open and always learning. And I think those are the most important parts. And I'm so glad that you all were here and able to be interested and that you're in these classes and that this is something that potentially we're looking at a whole auditorium full of future entrepreneurs. So, yeah, any other final words, Cindy? Thank you all so much for having us. Awesome. Thank you all so much. It was nice meeting all of you.
That's all.